My name is Eric Pedersen, and this is my video on Impact or Practice Implementing a Network Classroom. When I first heard about personal learning networks, I thought about things that I was passionate about and how I learned about those passions. For me, golf is one of my passions, and I realized that I've already created a personal learning network for how I can improve at golf. After I had a better understanding of what a personal learning network was, I decided to network as a teacher. The three areas or social networks I used the most to network were Pinterest, Facebook, and Twitter. What I really wanted to do was have my students create their own personal learning networks for math learning, but the idea didn't seem to fit naturally with math because I wasn't sure my students would be passionate about it. I still hope to do that someday. Maybe I can tie it in with Genius Hour. I started to dip my toe into the water on creating a personal learning network for my math teaching by making some comments and posts on Twitter. I also joined some groups on Facebook that were math teacher specific. Wading out into the water a little further, I began to find my voice. This is a post that shows where I help a teacher create a quiz on Google Forms. I began to realize that some of my ideas were pretty good. I even had other teachers asking for advice on how to create that Google quiz. I began to ask questions and started to learn about things that I wanted to learn about. In this discussion, I learned how the differences in language make it easier to understand place value for Japanese students. I decided to go on YouTube to find out even more about Japanese education. This is a video done by an American who teaches in Japan. She talked about what Japanese schools are really like. I was finding some great ideas that I could use in my classroom this year. These boards explain some of the math facts that students get confused about, like 1x is the same as x, and 8 is the same as 8 over 1. Here are some ideas I got from my Facebook groups that I used at the beginning of the school year. I love the rule, #NotYourMaid, and told the students that in Japan there are no janitors. I told them that students are expected to clean the school for a half an hour every day. But I still wasn't getting that big aha moment. One day I asked teachers who use Khan Academy in their classroom, along with the school's curriculum, how they use Khan Academy. That is, if they assign different individual assignments or missions, which are geared towards grade level activities. Almost everyone said they assign individual assignments. One teacher, whose posts I had read previously and was someone who I had a lot of respect for, responded that he liked missions better. I asked him why, because I had been leaning towards assigning individual assignments. He sent me a link to his website, and after reading it, I had my big aha moment. His website talked about the 3-bridge design for learning in a math classroom. The 3 bridges are curriculum coverage, inquiry-based learning, and personalized learning. Missions, or mappers, were the personalized learning component that my classroom was missing. A few years ago, I watched a TED Talks video by Sal Khan. He talked about how in America, you pass students from one grade to the next, even if they don't master the content from that grade. What ends up happening is students begin to have huge gaps, and their learning suffers as they get older. What happens with Khan mappers or missions is students get to work at their own pace on skills that they need to work on. Students who are advanced can find something that challenges them. Students who have gaps get to try and work on their gaps so they can better understand and learn at a grade level. In my math classroom, every student has different needs. I think one of the reasons why students act out is because they're either bored or they don't understand how to do the work. ConMappers can help me individualize a plan for each student so they don't become bored and they can feel successful. I even found out that I can put my students' math scores into Khan Academy per strand that will individualize each person's Khan Academy practice or Mappers practice. This allows them to work on the skills that they actually need help on. One reflection that I had is that I found out I like Facebook much more than the other social networks. I found it was much easier to have conversations with other teachers to find out what worked with them and what they were struggling with. In Twitter and some of the other Twitter and Pinterest, I wasn't getting much feedback. I had a lot of ideas that were shared, but there was no feedback or conversation that was going. And that's why I really enjoyed Facebook probably more than the other social networks. I also really loved what I learned about teaching math in a 3-bridge learning system. Curriculum coverage is something that we need to do in the United States because we're tested every year in 8th grade curriculum. Inquiry-based learning is also really important because we want our students to be better problem solvers. But I think that if our curriculum is missing the personalized component to it, I think it's going to be really difficult for students to improve their learning or become better at math. And that's why I found it so great to learn what I learned from my Facebook conversations with the math coach, Jeff, and go onto his webpage and learn all about it. That's my presentation. I'm excited to try my new cheese this year in personalized learning. Hopefully it works as well as I'm hoping it will.